Hi, once again, welcome back to our official channel, Path Ultima. Today, the channel just going to justify about the highlights of a variety story, the story of a recover, the story of a comeback, the story of the most surprising thing the entire world, the story that's been shocked the all peoples around the globe. I'm talking about that story. I'm talking about the story about the four child who's there just age less than the 15 who just been survived from Amazon forest current. Right. So before I just going to talk about how they just survive, what are the thing, just I'm just taking to the above the Amazon, the one of the biggest forest, green forest our world. 20% of our oxygen we taking from Amazon. So just imagine what was the important of if there is no Amazon forest in around the world, we could not just give have sustainable life. It's because of why that's we could the good fresh air we just provide getting from the different kind of forests, and Amazon just delivered 20% from among that. And just imagine, even we just saw there are plenty of news around the globe. One we just have watching the TV, just sometimes we just there it should be fired and burning happen inside the sectors of Amazon forest. From that moment of the people around the universe, they just feeling uncomfortable. They just make tears from eyes for Amazon because that's kind of all dependable. We have depend the Amazon forest, because even that small things fire be that should be affect for a people, because if that fire could not be stopped, if fire just keep continuing to just blow everyone, no one can stop. Then if there is no forest, it will not just be suddenly just destroy every part of Amazon. What you just imagine what will happen the rest of the entire human life who just be living now. I'm not talking the person who passed away. So that kind of important the forest, the Amazon forest, the we just learn about the history, about in the stories and everywhere. The forest is fully covered by a valuable trees and leaves, and there is the same time when you just look at the internal, very internal part, there should be afraid and scared things. There is poisonable snakes, wild animals, and different kind of variety kind of painful leaves, and attractive things. There is even what we says when the scientists there, if you're spending the time in the morning in Amazon, you just be feeling like we should be just reaching the night time. It means what is just you got it. Just even we just normally when they give away are the people who just live near the ocean, near the sea. When the sun rises, you should be getting very comfort. When the sun rises, you can just feel it that sun very well, because the shining part it's completely just belong to that area, right? Should be very lightly. So if you are the same time, you should be stay same like the biggest for like Amazon forest. Even the sun rises the entire way. Even there is no outrain or thing. Even the sun rises very well, but still, where the still just should be have plenty of dark. The completely covered by because of the reason of that huge amount of forest. That's why, because with the people who just be they know that should be how morning how they just be there be little shadows or something like that still have light available, but it does not seem like the people who are living the city, the people who just living the village, the people who's just living near the ocean, they just only get the lighting off, because I already mentioned the plenty amount of forest. And the forest is 60 percentage of the area. The forest 60% just belongs to the one and only sensational country, the most talented country in the world, Brazil, and 99% of should be read of Colombia, and the 9% of Cambodia, right? So 5 million, just imagine we got the information when 5 millions of people who just be how getting the freshers from there. So I'm just talk about just turn to about what we are to say about the story of four village sacrifice to the kids. One family, the family who just living near the Amazon, they just belongs to the caste, this tutorial caste families who members. So why they just decide to travel to another place? Because the people who just near living the Amazon forest from right side, left side, or if they just want to travel to another place, they can use road and air. So if you just try to travel the road, it should be have very difficult because of road issues, and the animals they're just going to be attacked to you and several. So better they just most of they just using that private jet, right? It should be have a painful one. It should be have compared to that one. It's not more expensive. They will collecting from us because it's not so well reputed or long. The band first stretcher people walk. We traveling that's more than economic class business. It's like a single jet airplane, right? So the family, it's a mother and two pilot and co-pilot, and four students. The elder one student should be age 13 years old. Is the elder one is a boy, and then a second one should be a 9 years old. That's be a girl, and third one just only just have 1 or 2 years old, and last one it's 11 years. So four children with the family they just be travel. So one they just be reach the middle of the top of the forest. Suddenly the engine getting problem. The pilot and co-pilot had just worried about that because their engine there is no the engine getting damaged. The engine is a essential factor if you are to travel to anywhere, right? They're getting damaged, so they just be worried and what to know. And after a few minutes there the connection, the internal communication system is suddenly disappear. There's blocked. So the flight should be just falling down to the middle of Amazon forest. Once they just try what happened, the moment when they just be the moment of the time, the father, the mother, and the pilot and co-pilot, the three of them just be of spotly death because three of them just standing, they just be sitting in front of, and their children who's beating, and for due to the leg they just be not getting any injured any accident, but them just being spotly death. So the community, then the entire Colombian people who just be they just know that this is a big incident for them. They just find out, they do not know whether it should be the rest of the four children who just passed because they do not identify. The rescue team came and they just easily get the bodies of both of them. But the fact is they do not get any symbols or any mark of that four children. Even they just be dead or their just bodies have been not found out anyone. Still what happened, the grandmother and grandfather who those children, they just still believing about the students still available. They do not get any kind of accident or anything because they just living with us. They know everywhere and what are the lessons they just learn from because they are living, it's not a living just like a normal city or any reputed place or metropolitan city. They're just living, so there are what are the lessons and training if you just be stuck in a kind of forest they just get. And just not like I'm talking about the well because just I've already mentioned the student, the first elder one was just only 13 years old, right? So that's now let's look at the problems they're going to be faced because what the scientist, the expert is scientific about the forest study and researchers say that for Amazon forest, each side should be have different sector. Once the most portionate snakes available. You could not have because different colors of snakes even should be long and thin. Even you could not find which should be a snake or that kind of poisonous snakes available in Amazon forest. The second thing is the attacking wild animals that including the giraffe, including that tiger and lion everywhere should be attacking to the your if they just find they will catch you. The other thing that should be even the leaves, most of the leaves and trees and flowers available, you could not know which one. If you even you just when you try to move to one place to another place and for you just touch it anyone, maybe that should be after to your health and you can get those. If you just use kind of using for some kind of leaves have to eat and buy, that should be something like a protected. And there is mysterious behind of unprotected predators also available. The next major fact, even most of the time. That was now the currently that's a separate rainy season for Amazon forest from the month to May to September. As per study from the expert from forest, they said that there is to be a continuous AV for each day in Amazon forest. Normally in the forest area, especially from around all the globe, it should be have no predictable for the weather should be, because if the rain should be, they have to just carrying all the water from the top of. But in the case it's specialized, they just mentioned about the season in the forest area. So if they just with some kind of their shadows or something, they will just find out. It suddenly just not be clear of that. So the rescue team, for the team who just be sent by the Colombian government to catch, find out those childrens, the Colombian, the Scott rescue team, they just be how to not get easy work because of these old matters, and because I already snakes and everything. So what will then they just search in everything, and then they just what they then do now, just keeping their water bottles everywhere, because they know that there's some kind of circle they will stay in. They keep in the water and keep in some kind of things. One they just return back, they know that the rescue team they will win and they can identify. But after then just getting they just getting return back, they just still hope, still there is no hope, no more than 15 days be conducted, still not, so they return back. Once they will return back, they just I saw that a bottle who just speak vacant of water, there is inside, there is no water, the complete vacant bottle, and small snake shoes and some kind of things. So that's might be they're just thinking that they've been still alive. So the rescue team just return back to the same place, and they just what when they just return back, they just bring in that dogs who can well trained, they're well experienced, and they just are very expert to smell nice things, especially what kind of the condition will be that smell. So whatever the precaution they just be taken, what are the things they just want to carry, just go in this kind of big risk they'll be done. But when they just getting the sign, they just be more alert about that one. Then they just find out all the things, what are the things who just need extra things, they just be carried out. So they just be starting to check and everywhere. And finally, what was the government? And unfortunately, they just happy maybe they can find out. But the president of Colombia, he just make it specific written in its Twitter program that they just find out that student. We just find out those skills who just be have struggle in Amazon forest. So the family and the rest of the all be there. But after few minutes, he just be make an apology about that what a wrong statement. After that, when he just president of a country, even he just to know how any communication with the authority of rescue team, just to make its own statement that make that opposition party and political issue. And during the time this spill all going on, but still the family and the entire world who just praying for them that children should be how to return back. And once you know more than 39 days be done, that is like 39 days be done, and finally they just be find out them. You know how they just to find out, that was an incredible thing. So I already they just keep it a bottle, they just be stay in some kind of whole area, they just not just be say one place. So one we catch it that they just be tell to explain to the elder ones to explain to them, we they just move to one place. So if we they will just stay the same place, the same they just be started their journey from the in the middle of the forest, because that's a plane crashed and the dead body be still there. That when the rescue team they just, but first they the elder something, if they just be that dead body getting smell after a few minutes any predictable active attacking when they will catch from, so they will move to one place. So if they just kill staying another place, if we suppose they just stay in one place, suppose there is any kind of animal who just be very clever and like fox, if they just so they will move to come to attack you. So they will move to one place to another place, just keep rotating their places. And at the next thing, they just not eat know which plant we have to eat, which water we have to drink. even there is forest, they're getting teaching lessons from their grandmother and grandfather from there, because that's what kind of impurity power they have, because they're just living near the forest. And what are the lessons they will get? They already been they learn everything from there, right? So the next thing they just will learn, or what was the second thing you have to do, keep that 9-year-old should be face safety, because there isn't enough water to or enough milk to drink. So all the matters, especially I really appreciate about the elder one who just be done all the works. So when they just return back to, you just imagine 40 days they spending, and finally rescue them to catch it. So one they just they have some kind of markers on the body. There is the left side, they just get someone small attacking. There is totally there's no feeling, because 14 days spending in an amazing big kind of forest, and just the age who is 10 30. So finally the government and our bride just appreciate about the rescue team. And I know that this story will just be written in the history of world, the most surviving thing in the world. I just want to want to be just see this one in the film industry, because of why we saw that plenty of Hollywood films about the person who in suddenly who just be stuck in the forest or return back, but never saw the four children just less than 15 years old, how they just be survived that. So maybe they have the talent, the creative like directors available. Even if the story taken by none other, just same James Cameron, what should be the film should be what see. So I hope should be have to happen like that. Thank you so much, and wish you a day.